Hello there, guys and gals. Today we have a special episode. Yep, my twin brother, he's here working on his car, so I'm gonna come down and assist him. He don't even know that I'm walking up right now. And here he is, somewhere in here. Anyway, today we're gonna go ahead and bleed the slave cylinder on a 2003-ish Mini Cooper. And I'm going to finally return these towels to the garage. Without further ado, I'm going to let my twin brother explain what you can expect whenever one of these are going bad. So twin brother, do you mind telling them?
So Brahim, so I thought it was the clutch that was bad. I didn't tell my brother exactly what the problems were. I'm glad I did, because I did find a broken fork in the clutch. So I just spent a lot of money that I didn't really have to. Besides that, what I was experiencing was I was at a red light, and whenever I went to go put it in first gear, it was like it would not go. It was, I mean, it barely went into first gear. I mean, you had to put a lot of force behind it. Same thing with second, third, and fourth and fifth was fine, but the first two gears just would not go at all. So I got it back home finally and turned it off. Waited for a second, and then I turned it back on, clutch fully depressed, and it started going. Like, it started moving forward, and I had the clutch completely down. So that was when my brother, whenever I told him exactly what, exactly what was going on, and he mentioned the slave. I did a little bit of research on it, and everything they said was exactly the experiences I was having with, you know, moving forward with the clutch completely depressed and everything. So,
and O'Reilly's actually had this part in stock, didn't they?
It took them 2 days, but
oh, okay.
I mean, it wasn't actually in stock, but whenever I looked it up, the guy that was explaining it, he said that the Mini Coopers, the clutch cylinder, slave cylinder, actually are really bad, and he keeps one an extra spare in his car just because of that reason. So if you get one of these guys, get a spare slave cylinder too, because you're going to be replacing it.
Yeah, so you heard it from the man himself. Now, I did a little bit of online research, so it looks like he already has an idea too. Looky there.
Actually, that's an old idea.
That idea, yeah?
Yeah. So we're doing a different thing.
So what he did was, what you have to do to bleed these things correctly is depress this. Watch out for the light for a second. You have to depress this all the way and keep it depressed and bleed the bleeder. The reason is this fluid, for whatever reason, will not let you bleed. It just bypasses this little back section here. So you have to go through, pump the pedal just like you're bleeding it, crack this 3 to 4 times until you think it's good, release that, put it back in there, and then bleed it regularly. Why? It's a poor engineered part. That's just the whole facts of it, because for whatever reason it's bypassing this whole little section back in here and directly going straight to the bleeder. So it's a fault in the system. Nonetheless, I'm going to see what his idea is, and then I'll show him something that I found on the internet. All right, we'll come right back to you and see how quick this takes. All right, so my twin brother's been watching some videos. His is different than what I've watched, so I'm gonna let him explain to you what he watched he saw that worked.
All right, so what the guy had going on is I have a lot of air in my clutch. Basically, right whenever you touch it, it goes straight down to the ground. So this is how he did it. He connected his main line that goes to his slave cylinder, ran just rubber hose up to his master. Your master and your brake are the same thing. So you just run the line in there, you go to your clutch, and you just keep on pumping it. He said 15 to 30 times, because he said these, whenever they get air in them, they're a pain in the butt to get the air out of them. So I'm just going to do that till it starts getting some clutch, and then we'll start bleeding the slave cylinder.
All right, well, that's the game plan. Let's see if it works. That's not rehearsed at all. Anyway, So you got done bleeding the inside of the pedal, and what's your next steps here? You got, looks like your slave cylinder.
Yeah, slave cylinder.
Okay.
So this line should have all liquid in it now, no air.
Okay.
So what you do is you...
That's your line that runs to this.
Yeah. So you press this in all the way. I held it like this, and you slowly put brake fluid in it as you slowly let this come back out.
Okay.
Once you fill that all the way up, this is completely decompressed. You hook your line back into it. You take this rubber line, keep it into your master, and you plug it up to here. You plug, and then you put your slave cylinder back in place.
All right, let's run through it and see what we got. I want to see you do this. You mind if I blind you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just joking.
Put this back in.
All right, you're plugging the line back in the booster, or the, slave cylinder.
Now you go ahead and hook this back up.
Oh, I see. So you're bleeding it backwards like a brake system.
Yeah, like a brake system.
Okay, so then you're pushing that part in with the bleeder cracked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see. What do you need?
It's in my pocket. So what you do, now since you got this hooked up, you crack it about 4 turns. 1, 2, 3.
So really about 1 full turn?
Yeah. And then you start hooking it up.
Okay, so you go ahead and set it in spot and then use the clutch pedal to do it?
Well, yeah, you'll push this back
Yeah.
to let all the rest of the air out if there is any. Then you just hook it up where it needs to be.
That's a pretty tough little fit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I can tell by the way you're straining. Summer's got some tension to her. Now I can hear air coming out of that, so that's a good sign. And it should suck it back in from the master cylinder down.
Yep.
But he's also compressing it so he can fit it back down into spot. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And it is tight fittings, guys, or else I have to be right down in there with him. But it's super tight down in there. I'll show you better whenever we get, whenever he gets set in the spot. And hopefully with this flashlight here, or yeah, my headlight, because we can drive it home with a one headlight. So, all right, this is what he was struggling with, guys and gals. Getting that burger down in there, and he still got to fit it in the little arm that we had a fun time fitting. So but he's going to let the clutch pedal do the work for me. Hopefully this works out. We'll be back in a few minutes to let you know. So he's got it all together, and right there is why I couldn't record all this. This goes into a pivot ball shifter type thing that attaches to the transmission. Now, how you gonna bleed this?
So basically what you do is you bleed it like a your brakes.
Oh, okay.
You hook up that line that we had that's still in your master.
Yeah.
You hook it up to your slave bleeder, and then you'll have to have two people. One
Okay. person's
person's going to pump the brake, push down the brake, or clutch, and then the other person's going to open it just like they would if they were going to be opening up your brake.
Oh,
They'll let
okay.
all the air out, make sure all the air is out. Once the pedal's all the way smashed down, you bled it just like you'd be bleeding your brakes. You
Now,
crack
do I
that-
pump it inside or no?
No, you hold it all the way down to the ground.
And then you tighten the bleeder.
I tighten the bleeder, you stay there. You don't take your foot off the brake, because or the clutch, what it does is it'll suck all this air back in. You basically created bubbles. So what you do is you'll push down the clutch for me. Once I shut this off, I'll come over there. You can lift your foot, you'll have some resistance, but then there'll be a point where there's no resistance at all. It's just kind of loose. So the other person will pull, or you can, will pull the clutch the rest of the way up.
Okay, so I can just do that. All right, let's go ahead and start this process in. So I'm gonna press it to the floor and hold it.
Press it to the floor and hold it.
Now you're gonna tighten the bleeder, correct?
I'm going to loosen the bleeder.
You're gonna loosen the bleeder. We're twin brothers, but he thinks on the other side of the brain or something. I don't know. These cars aren't too bad. Look how big of that thing is. Big old Ripham's gauge right there. Look at that. That's pretty cool. No back seat area, but man, look at that moonroof. Roofs, plurals. Okay, now, did you tighten the bleeder?
I tighten the bleeder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the brake or the clutch from you.
Okay.
You let up.
Yep.
And slowly you're going to bring it up. About 10 seconds.
Okay. Now the bleeder's tight right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're going to crack the bleeder again.
Crack it again, and then you just keep on repeating that process until you get a nice firm clutch. And
Okay.
that should be the process.
All right. Now you want me to push it all the way down now?
Yes.
Okay.
Feel anything?
Something felt weird. Did that line come off?
No.
Oh, okay. Felt like something popped. I don't know. Maybe I should take it out of gear for safety.
I know what you felt, but I'll tell you in a minute.
And I'll lift it up real slow by myself, so.
Don't do anything yet.
Nope, not till you tell me. I think he's older, not me.
Remember that arm that you couldn't move?
Yeah?
That pressure from that slave cylinder pushed it some.
Oh.
So it means that it's getting,
It's doing something.
yeah, it's getting power.
Power. All right, well. All right, lift it up real slowly.
No.
No?
Because I'm going to be there to catch it, because you don't want to lift it up too early. All right,
I
go
think he
ahead.
just wants to be close to me, and that's okay. If this wasn't my twin brother, I wouldn't let him do it. I'm telling you right now.
All right, do her again.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
We're getting pedal that way.
Yeah.
We really are. That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, because what I watched was making a plate
Yeah.
and pressing that cylinder down and bleeding it and all.
Yeah, and then you run into, if you have air in your system, you can do that, but then if you have a lot of air like I did,
Yeah.
I screwed it up, you're not going to get that air out of there that way. What you got to do is recirculate it like we did in the beginning
Yeah.
by putting the line go
Into
into your
the-
master.
okay.
Just keep pumping, because what I did, I didn't know that. I tried it with duct tape,
Yeah.
pushing it in, but that whole slave cylinder was dry. So it might go in there, and whenever I'd open it, it'd spit out, like air was coming through. So I'm like, why isn't it going?
Right.
But it's not pressurized. So it's going to take you, a lot longer. You can still do it that way, but it's going to take you a lot longer to do it that way, because they said whenever you get air in this clutch system, it's a bitch to get out.
Right on.
I mean, you seen me.
I seen him. All right. Well, I've got it depressed. All right. I'm gonna come back as soon as we get this all wrapped up, and I just felt the pedal move down, so I know we got pressure.
Good. So it's working.
Sweet. So this way of bleeding it will absolutely, positively work so far.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
It's probably good to mention to your people, just because I already had it torn down, that this slave cylinder is under your battery box.
The slave cylinder apparently is under the battery box, which I was confused why he didn't put the battery in. That's the reason. So that's also good to know. Don't put your battery back in yet after replacing this piece or what have you.
Under your battery box and your air box.
So it's really easy and convenient to get to.
About 10 millimeter.
About 10 millimeter. He said he'll get about everything done.
Yeah.
So we're just about there. We're going to finish bleeding this clutch, and then I'm going to let you know that this way absolutely 100% works. You ready to go back down on the pedal?
Yep.
All right, press them down. This might take a day or 12, but we'll get right back at it, all right? So after we bled the clutch like 5 or 12 times, probably 12, we're going to put it to Sendville. He had to put the battery and stuff back in it, and the computer plugged back in, all this good jazz. Let's just see if it worked. The clutch pedal didn't change the last 4 or 5 times we bled it, so that's hopefully a gooder sign. Starting it out of gear, which is very smart. Hey, it runs. That's a plus.
That's a plus.
You guys saw what it looked like last week and the week before, right? What the?
Oh, I did the brakes. I don't know.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, here we go. Hey. It don't move. You're gonna have to do it again. Okay, there it goes.
All right. So, right. I mean, it shifts straight into gear very easily now. I mean,
Well, that's probably because your shifting fork was broke.
that and the slave wasn't pushing it to send that fork.
There it goes.
But, I mean, whenever the slave cylinder was going bad, if you went, I mean, you had to, one time I had to shut it off just to put it in gear. And if it's in gear at a red light or something like that, this thing will shake like the dick.
Because it's pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's trying to take off.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I think we got her.
I think he's got it because he did 97, no, 105% more work than what I ever did. It stinks like the dickens out here, but it's got all kind of love juice everywhere.
Yeah, that's gonna take a minute.
But he got the battery back in. As you see, that's where your slave is down there. Hidden.
And you got your air box right here.
Air box there. It's all kind of compact, if you will. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this helps you guys and gals out. He's planning on keeping this car for a while, so it might be back on here. Hopefully not. But keep an eye on your brake fluid also whenever you're doing this, because that is also for the brakes itself. So you might get a 2-for-1. You know, you might have to re-bleed your brake system and your clutch if you ain't paying attention. I'm just saying. Anyway, I just want to say thanks to my twin brother, Brian.
King Wasabi.
King Wasabi, for doing this video with me. I really appreciate him. He did this after a nice hard day's work. He's a nurse, so give it up to our nurses. And as always, we want to thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys We'll see you guys next time here on Right Turn Garage TV. Y'all have a great weekend.